Is the global recession on the horizon? Is Tesla in big trouble? Are they positioned to survive if this gets really, really ugly? I'll answer those questions and more right now. Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we'll cover what is happening globally right now and where this is headed. How will this affect Tesla and Tesla stock? And we'll answer the question, can Tesla survive? And if you like making money, go ahead and subscribe, hit that little notifications bell, and while you're down there, go ahead and like the video as well. We are here and no one can deny we are in a full-fledged Black Swan event. US has restricted air travel to Europe and to other countries, and the illness is still growing. And I think those numbers will continue to get higher in the short term due to the long incubation period of this illness that we can't say on YouTube still. Governments are finally responding, but it will take time to get that money moving. There is no cure or vaccine yet. Again, it's just gonna take time. So until then, I really think the markets are gonna continue to free fall. I just don't think there's any way of stopping it. I don't think the government can stop it. I just think that's the situation we're in. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, the biggest destroyer of the market is still to come. What is the actual dollar amount attached to this entire global slowdown or really global shutdown? Nobody knows the answer to that right now, and I don't think anyone wants to admit exactly what that number is because it's going to be huge. So how does all this affect Tesla? Whether intentional or not, Tesla brilliantly executed another stock raise of almost $2 billion just before the crash. But that is not a likely option moving forward. They did great the first time, but it's not going to be an option again. How many deliveries of the Model Y will change? Nobody knows. Will people take delivery of the vehicle, or will they delay or cancel altogether? That all remains to be seen. Additionally, Tesla is going to have to stop spending so much on CapEx, capital expenditures, as they will lose cash flow that could have offset those expenditures. And remember, we're just talking short term here. I've read several articles and seen multiple YouTube videos with guys out there trying to compare iPhone sales during the last Great Recession and then trying to equate them to Tesla being able to perform similarly. I also heard others comparing it to streaming services or, cheap digital media. Look at Apple's performance during the financial crisis in 2008, 2009, and 2010. Incredible performance. But the price of an iPhone is $600. Netflix is, $15 or so, and streaming a movie costs you about $5 or so. Not $30,000 or $40,000 or more. That's why I think comparing Tesla to those other things is very, very dangerous. Hey, I agree completely. Tesla is a game-changing, market-changing, technologically wonderful product. But people are not comparing apples to apples when you're comparing buying a Tesla to downloading a movie. But I bet it gets likes and subscribers. Wait, did the graphic finish running yet? Okay. Show me a single automaker from Honda to Ferrari if you want to that had an increase in sales during the last recession. It didn't happen. Additionally, this recession is completely different than the last one. During the Great Recession, we all still drove to work and carried on about our normal days that, basically require us to drive a car every day. As this continues to wear on, people are barely going to leave their homes, much less drive anywhere. So I think during this recession, you are far more likely to delay that purchase of the Tesla if you really don't need it. What if you're uncertain about your future? Will you have a job? Will you have enough money to just pay the bills? Those are real questions people are just now starting to ask, and I don't think buying a vehicle is going to enter a lot of people's minds, at least at that stage of the game. People are starting to finally take a defensive posture. They're stocking up on food, toilet paper, fighting over toilet paper, and other, prepping type things. Buying a new car typically does not fit that posture. If we even give the current situation a best case ever, if the demand is still there with everything else going on, can Tesla actually meet the demand? There are too many factors working against Tesla in the short term that's going to hurt them. Tesla is special and game-changing, but I believe this recession delays their growth until the recession passes. But in the meantime, if sales fall or go completely dark, can Tesla survive? And if so, for how long? So let's look at the worst case scenario and the financials behind that. There is no way any government will let all the automakers fail, which I think is beneficial to Tesla as other automakers will not come out of this downturn clean. They will be saddled with either debt or government restrictions, or both. Also, other car makers will be forced to cut back on parts of their business that do not represent their core or main profit centers. Most of them are already admitting they're 7 years behind Tesla on the EV side of the house. So EVs typically make up a very small portion of other automaker sales, yet its continued development is very expensive. So what would you do as a CEO, especially when you're just trying to survive and not go bankrupt? What decision would you make? In these crisis situations, CEOs typically take a very short-term view, and I believe they will cut back significantly on their EV tech and production. This further primes the pump for Tesla to explode, if they can make it out of it unscathed. So will Tesla need government money too? Right now, Tesla's cash is around $6.4 billion. Yeah, I know, they raised another $2 billion in February. But we're trying to look at the worst case scenario here. Maybe Elon bought a $2 billion corporate yacht to isolate himself from this virus. Who knows? He does do crazy stuff. We'll also assume production shuts down completely everywhere. Tesla, being the great company it is, decides to pay all the employees even if they're not working. They also continue to keep the lights on, pay the rents, the utilities, all that good stuff. So as you can see right here, they have approximately $1.1 billion in quarterly expenses. So we'll just assume they keep paying their full $1.1 billion in quarterly expenses. At that rate, they can go a year and a half before burning through all of their capital. They won't need to take on debt for a long time to keep the lights on. And if Elon didn't buy a yacht, that buys another 2 quarters worth of operating expenses. So yes, I believe Tesla will survive, and the math proves it. Doesn't mean they won't struggle, or we won't continue to see Tesla stock continue to go down. I have a video coming out on that shortly. But remember, in this example, we assume they kept everything in place. They just quit producing and selling cars. So when this is all over, they should be able to ramp up production much more quickly than others who will have to make cuts to employees, suppliers, all that good stuff. I believe they're in a position to explode in the next 6 months to a year after all this clears up. Further fueling that explosion is going to be the fact that this recession is going to kill off some of the competition. It's not going to allow everybody to survive. And out of those who survive, a lot of them are going to be hindered by either lots of excess debt or government restrictions because they took bailout money. So I think in the end that sets up an explosion for Tesla on the back end of all this. So no matter what price you bought Tesla stock at, you will be very thankful you did. So comment down below and tell us what you think. Will they survive? And if so, how low do you think the share price is going to fall? And if you've already bought, what price did you buy at? Comment down below and let us know that. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, hit that little notifications bell. And if you're feeling really generous and want to help me feed my kids that eat a ton, go ahead and press that like button too. Thanks.